What's going on YouTube? I am LuboATM. Welcome into the channel and welcome to this week's Shrine of Secrets discussion. If you've not joined in before, this is where I go through all the perks on the Shrine of Secrets, describe to you what they do and how you can use them, and whether it's worth your hard-earned shards or not. Before we kick off, my hay fever has been going absolutely haywire, so my throat's a little bit breaky in points, so just a heads up if I sound a bit weird. Don't need to worry about me. And jumped we'll get jumped straight in. I think I say that a lot and I'm pretty sure I say it wrong every time, so let's jump straight in. First perk on the shrine this week is Leatherface Teachable, and it's BBQ and Chili. I don't think I need to go into this in much detail, but after hooking a survivor, all other survivors' auras are revealed to you for X amount of seconds when they are further than 40 meters away from the hook. Each time that survivor is hooked, for the first time, you gain a 25% stackable bonus up to X amount of percent, goes all the way up to 100, and the bonus blood points are awarded after the trial. So basically, if you hook everyone once in a trial, you get double blood points. That's the main draw of BBQ and Chili, right? So the main draw of it is you hook everyone in the trial, you get double blood points for that game. Makes grinding blood points a hell of a lot easier and is all round just wonderful. You get the same thing from We're Going to Live Forever on the survivor side, but it's a lot harder to get the stacks. You get this basically from passively playing killer and doing what you're supposed to do. It is incredible. It's just so good. The second aspect is your aura reading. So when you hook someone, you see the rest of the survivors' auras for X amount of seconds if they're out with 40 meters. So this is also incredibly good for specific killers. I wouldn't say it's good for all killers. I don't think that's the case. But specifically for killers with good mobility or killers who can traverse the map quickly, it's an incredible thing because you can hook someone, look around, see someone on a gen at the other side of the map and make it over to them, pressure them off that gen, engage in another chase, helps you find survivors after you've just downed someone and kind of help you keep the ball rolling. And that's basically the power of it. Like, so if you take an example, if you look at a killer like Freddy, if you hook someone and turn around and see someone a gen, you can then teleport directly to that gen instead of having to walk all the way across the map. Similarly with people like Nurse or Huntress, who you can throw cross maps at. You know what I mean? Like, incredible for certain killers, but I don't think is as strong as everyone makes out to be. Like, it's quite easily countered by lockers. You'll find a lot of players do that. As soon as someone goes down, they'll find the closest locker and kind of jump in. And a tip on the survivor side for that is once the hook, obviously when you hook someone, you get the kind of the black bubble showing that they're on the hook. Once that disappears, then the barbecue time has elapsed, and you can get back out the locker and don't have to worry about getting seen and getting out. It's just an incredible perk. It's easily one of the best perks in the game. For a multitude of reasons, in terms of, like, A, being able to grind blood points, and B, for the additional ability it gives you as killer. If you've watched me on stream ever, then you'll know that my go-to perk for any killer is Barbecue and Whispers. And I know it's not good on every killer, but they're the two that I go with, and then have another two. They're the two tracking perks I tend to use most of the time. So moving on, can't remember who sang the song, but it may have been Simple Plan, but it's all downhill from here. The next perk is Blood Echo, which is an only teachable. When hooking a survivor, all other survivors suffer the hemorrhage and exhaustion stats effect for 45 seconds, cooldown of 80 seconds. So, you know, this is kind of cool in certain occasions. For example, if you've hooked someone and you know someone else is nearby that's running an exhaustion perk and is injured, then you know that you can engage them in a trace right away and they can't use their dead hard or their life, for example, for like 45 seconds. The issue is it's very situation specific. It's not one that you can just put on and you know you're going to get value out of, like Barbecue. This is one that, like, if you play a situation right, or you happen into the right situation, then you'll get value out of it. It's not one that you are organically just going to put this on every game and be like, cool, I get Blood Echo value every game. 90% of the time you won't even notice you get Blood Echo value, because if you're doing this, you might not always know that someone is running Dead Hard or Life or whatever, so you might not see yourself getting value, which I think is probably one of the ones that's quite hard to kind of gauge how effective it is from a killer side. The hemorrhage stat effect is good, obviously, because you can see more. You can see more blood, and it makes it easier to track. That's good, but it's only good if you can make use of it. If you are up against survivors who constantly heal themselves, then you're never really going to get any value out of this perk, and most people will try and heal directly off hook or run away in self-care or whatever. So it's hard to quantify how good or bad this is, but I think it's one you can slap on to certain builds for fun, or if you're kind of going anti-exhaustion builds, something like that, like this with Mindbreaker and stuff, to kind of rob people of their dead hards, then it can be a bit of fun. But I don't think it's a perk you should be overly concerned about unlocking and running regularly. The first survivor perk is Kate's Teachable Dance With Me. So when performing a fast vault or leaving a locker in a sprint, you leave no scratch marks for 3 seconds. It has a cooldown of 60 seconds. Obviously the times are variant depending on tiers. I just don't see the value in this perk. I'm going to be honest. Like, especially now with Lucky Break doing what Lucky Break does, I don't see it. The fact that it has to be a fast vault, and like, so it's the one thing I'm not a 1,000,000% sure of, but like to me, a fast vault is a fast vault. Doesn't cover slow or medium vaults 90% of the times, depending on the situation you're in. You're probably only going to be able to get off a medium vault unless you're ahead of the killer and you're specifically giving yourself the angle. So most of the time you're not going to get the value. How often do survivors at a good level really use lockers? Not that often. The cooldown is pretty long, and the amount of time you don't leave scratch marks for isn't particularly favourable. If you're being chased and vaulted a window, unless you're in something like Shack, so if you've jumped a T-wall at a fast vault, you're still going to be within sight of the killer within a second, so not leaving scratch marks isn't going to help you. It's only if you're going to leave certain areas, like if you're going to jump out Shack window and the killer's inside and you can make it off, they might not be able to kind of locate where you've went to. Like, it's very specific, and the value you get from it isn't great. And the last one is Arena Teachable, which is off the record. So once you're unhooked or escaped from the hook, off the record activates for X amount of seconds. While off the record is active, your aura will not be shown to the killer, and your grunts of pain are reduced by 100%. So this, for me, gives you a lot more value than Dance With Me does, because this gives you protection probably when you need it most. So if you're able to be unhooked and then get into a position where you're safe, you're not going to be called out by your grunts of pain. You're not going to be like audibly found for like a minute. In that sense, obviously they can track your blood, but if you've been able to get to a safe position early and the killer's kind of came in and the blood's kind of disappeared, then it gives you protection at a time in the trial when you need it most. Obviously, like, you can pair it with other things. Lucky Break's a bit hit and miss because of the time you use most of your Lucky Break before you go on the hook. But again, if you're being farmed, you can come off hook, leave no blood and leave no scratch marks and make no sounds and disappear into the night, and killer may never find you again. Don't get me wrong though, saying that, I don't think this perk is particularly brilliant. I just think it's considerably better than Dance With Me. I think it can be good in certain situations. I think it needs to be paired with things. I think I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I can't remember. I think it's one of Steve's perks that again, that's when you unhook other people, so ignore that. But yeah, so like, I think if you pair it with the right things, you can get a lot of value out of this, but I don't think it's one that people will be running often, if you know what I mean. If you're solo queuing, then yes, maybe, because you might be playing and getting farmed often and you want to kind of try and give yourself an extra bit of protection if people aren't running borrowed time, and you want to kind of get into a safe place to try and heal up or something. But yeah, so I think it's a lot better than Dance With Me, and I think it's kind of middle of the road. And I think it has got its pro side. I just don't see overarching how much of a pro it is, if that makes sense. So there we go, guys. That's another shrine discussion in the books. I usually do what to get and what not to get. Get BBQ and Chili. Just get BBQ and Chili. Ignore the rest of them. Survivor ones are a bit meh anyway. Blood Echo's a bit meh. Get BBQ and Chili. If you haven't bought Leatherface, you haven't leveled them up to Teachable, get BBQ and Chili. It will help you level up your killers and unlock all your Teachables so much quicker. And also, it's just a great perk. So just get BBQ and Chili. That's pretty much the sum up of this video. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. As again I said at the beginning, I'm LiboATM. Thank you for sticking around. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Please come follow me over on Twitch as well, where I stream a few times a week, playing Dead by Daylight. Love to chat to each and every one of you over there. Day of release. I know this is going to be going out a bit later, but obviously the new tome is being released today, so keep an eye out on the channel for the tome guide for Tome 7 Part 4. And until I see you guys next time, peace.